The Po River in northern Italy is one of the lesser known places in Europe for river cruises, but if you're looking for an immersive experience in the region, then this is really the best way to see it. I'm Bob Bradley from the Pampered Cruiser, and if you're planning this cruise or any other river or small ship ocean cruise, then we'd love to help you. Our contact information is in the notes below. Most river cruises in Europe will cover 3 or more countries in a single week, but on this Venice and Po River cruise, you get to experience northern Italy in depth. If you've ever visited Venice for a day or two pre or post cruise and you feel that you've really just scratched the surface, or if you've considered spending several days in Venice at a hotel, then this cruise might be the perfect choice for you. In reality, you really don't go very far in the week on board, hence the more immersive experience. In addition to several port stops around the Venetian lagoon, you really only get about 40 kilometers up the Po River to get to Bologna before returning back to the Venice area. This means you can get to the lesser known spots around Venice as well as take in the main historical sites from the comfort of the Uniworld supership La Venezia. If you'd like to view our ship tour video, I've put that link in below as well. Let's take a look at the day-by-day itinerary on this unique river cruise. There's many different ways to see Venice, and all of them involve some aspect of being on the water. We're on the Uniworld La Venezia this week, and we're getting the best of both worlds. This city really does never get old, and to be here early in the season and at the tail end of a pandemic means we're not having to share it with millions of others. As promised, the Uniworld folks were there to meet us at the airport and transfer us to the ship. If you stay at a hotel that is right in Venice, where there are no cars of course, then you're subject to either a substantial walk or an expensive water taxi ride to get to your accommodations. We were dropped off right at the ship. The other really nice thing about being on the Uniworld La Venezia is that we have a waterfront room right on the canal, and it really doesn't get much better than this. Each Uniworld ship is unique and very much an artistic extension of the destination in which you're visiting. There's no doubt that we're in Venice both when we look out the window and when we're exploring the charming little corners on this beautiful little ship. There are original pieces of local art, sculptures made of Murano glass, wall murals, and glass mosaic tiles. We're here to explore Italy, and the ship is a key part of that experience. It was an early morning wake-up call, but we managed to get into Doge's palace before the queues. Not such a bad thing. After a short early morning walk through the Castello district from the ship to Doge's palace, the folks at Uniworld arranged to have us sneak in a back entrance prior to the place being open to the public. The early morning walk was worth it. To be able to see this incredible sight with a small group was really a highlight. By the time we left, the lineup was several hundred people deep, and this is even in the off-season in Italy. In the afternoon, we did some scenic sailing in the Venetian lagoon and a Prosecco tasting on board the ship because we are in Italy after all. After dinner, we were back on land again, and Uniworld arranged to have a water taxi take us to the St. Mark's Basilica for an after-hours visit so we could visit this stunning venue without the crowds. If you're counting, this is twice today that we've bypassed the lineups. So even in the off-season here in Italy, things get pretty busy from time to time. These folks behind me here are all lined up for the St. Mark's Basilica, which we get to go into after hours, so we don't get to stand in line. So thanks to the Uniworld people for doing that for us. As a bonus, our local guide was able to get us into the St. Mark's Crypt that is generally not open to the public. Visiting these normally busy historical sites outside of the regular opening hours with no crowds greatly enhances the experience. And another nice thing about being on a cruise that actually doesn't go that far in the week is you get an opportunity to explore some of these places at night. Been to Venice many times, never had the opportunity to play at night very much, so this has been a unique experience. Just about every trip to Venice involves a ride on a gondola boat, but did you ever wonder where those boats and their accessories were made? That mystery was solved for us this morning as we visited Esquero and saw firsthand how the oarlocks for the gondola boats are handmade to the specific boat and its operators. It was then off to see the shipyards for these unique boats that have been made famous by Venice. After lunch, La Venezia made a scenic ride to the fishing village of Chioggia on the other side of the Venetian lagoon. We then boarded a smaller traditional wooden boat, or Bragoso, for a scenic harbor tour of Little Venice. From the Bragoso, we visited the Kai Zen estate, a rustic family home, and enjoyed a tasting of delicious local seasonal foods as well as beer and wine, all produced in the region. I should also mention that there is entertainment on board the ship most nights for those that choose to stay aboard. If you hear the name Bologna and you think about food, you've got it right. We got to see firsthand how pasta is made in this part of Italy, and even better, we got to eat it. Bologna is renowned for its cuisine. It's the hometown of tortellini, mortadella, tagliatelle, and ragu, amongst many other delicacies, and you thought this stuff came from aisle 5 at Trader Joe's. Besides our local Italian feast, we got to wander this city of 400,000 today. The first thing that strikes you is all the porticos. The weather is mild here, and we're here in the wintertime, but you don't have to worry too much about getting rained on. There are over 45 kilometers, or 30 miles for some of us, of covered sidewalk. The shops here consist of both the mom and pop variety as well as the big international brands, so there's really something for everyone. Bologna is also the birthplace of Marconi, the electrical engineer that invented the radio and sent the first transatlantic electronic transmission from Canada to England in 1902. Earlier in the week, we got the harbor tour of Chioggia, and now we get to explore the fishing village itself. Today is Thursday, so a good day to do this as it's the Chioggia Weekly Market Day. Chioggia is sometimes called Little Venice, but the locals have taken to calling Venice Bigger Chioggia. I suppose this makes sense. Chioggia is every bit as scenic as Venice, without all the overwhelming crowds, and it's been here longer. The clock tower that rises 100 feet out of the town was constructed in 1386. If you're a shopper for perfume, prints, toys, handicrafts, or even food, you can do much better here in Chioggia than you can in Venice. On this market day, there are even more treasures for shoppers. In the afternoon, the ship took a short journey over to Burano. Burano is an island at the very northern end of the Venetian lagoon. If you were going to take a water taxi from Venice, it would take about 45 minutes to ride to this pretty little island of 3,000 residents. Streets made of water and no cars are standard in this part of Italy, but this little town is tremendously colorful as well. Legend has it that it was painted this way so the fishermen in centuries past could find their way back home. Today, Burano is just a really pretty little town and famous for its needle lace that we attended a demonstration of. Torcello is considered the birthplace of Venetian civilization and is a 45-minute boat ride from modern Venice. Conversely, it was a 5-minute boat ride from where our ship was docked at Burano last night, so once again we managed to beat the crowds to this important archaeological and historical site. This is a great day trip from Venice if you want to come and see the cathedral adorned with medieval mosaics that was first started construction in 639 AD. Or maybe you just want to escape the crowds of Venice for a while and have lunch at one of the amazing restaurants on this pretty little island. Back on board the ship, we thought we'd give room service a try for lunch, and what better setting than overlooking the vineyard in Burano. After spending the morning at Torcello, we set sail for Venice just as the day trippers were starting to arrive. It was just under an hour back to Venice, and the views from the deck of the La Venezia were stunning. In the late afternoon, Uniworld popped us onto a smaller boat, or the Venetian equivalent of maybe a motor coach, to travel up the Grand Canal to the Scuola Grande di San Rocco. And no, this is not Starbucks' latest featured drink, but it's rather a 600-year-old beautiful building with vivid art and architecture, and the perfect place to see a performance of Vivaldi's Four Seasons. It seems somewhat appropriate to see Vivaldi in his native Venice, and even those not particularly impressed by classical music were blown away by this experience. Sipping local wine in a beautiful historic venue, listening to Venice's most famous musicians' work, that'll be a memory. I've been to Venice a few times, usually for a day or two pre or post cruise. This is the first time I've stayed this long, and I really feel like it's the first time I've gotten more than a surface level experience of this iconic city. There's way more to Venice than just streets made of water and a great big church. This morning we strolled through the intricate alleyways of the Dossoduro district, and by the way, without our guide we'd still be wandering around, and ended up at a mask-making atelier, where we enjoyed a demonstration of the centuries-old Venetian Carnival tradition of mask-making. Masks were part of the Renaissance culture in Venice up until the French invaded in the late 18th century and outlawed them. Masks were revived in the 1970s as part of Carnival. In the afternoon, we had some time at our leisure in Venice, and we stumbled into a demonstration of Leonardo da Vinci's models that had been built from his surviving papers. I always knew that Da Vinci was a genius, but this display absolutely proved it. We've always been taught that the Wright brothers invented the bicycle. Turns out this Italian polymath beat them to it by about 400 years. Today we disembark, and I've been talking about all the incredible things we've been doing on shore for the past week. But if you want more information on Uniworld's super ship La Venezia, then check out our ship tour video in the links below. If you're thinking about taking this cruise, or really any other river or ocean cruise, we'd be pleased to help you. You can contact us by email at bob@pamperedcruiser.com or 1-800-876-0168. If you found this video to be helpful, then please give it a like, or better yet, make a comment or subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.